Good evening to you, Mr. Sridhar.
Good evening, Mr. NC.
Thank you very much at the outset for sparing your time to go through this small piece of a dialogue with you regarding your experience of implementing profit leadership in Indo Tech Transformers. So I really admire your leadership for having undertaken this initiative. So let me start with the few questions, and probably you can feel free to give your perspectives. So start with, could you kindly tell us something about your vision as a CEO of Indo Tech Transformers? What do you want to really achieve for the organization?
Now, my vision is to make Indo Tech Transformers as a preferred choice for the renewable energy segment. Renewable energy is the future of India, and my vision is this company becomes the most preferred choice whenever it comes to a need of transformer for renewable energy sector. That is one. And second, in parallel, I want it to be in top two transformer manufacturing company of the southern India.
So you must have adopted the many conventional way the profits can be enhanced by cutting cost, etc. Why did you take up the profit leadership initiative, which when SSA proposed? Was there any reason why did you choose this approach?
Yeah, I would say before that, our intentions, and particularly I was sensitive towards using the word cost. And I never said to people we have to reduce the cost. I always say we have to reduce the waste. So the main theme was to identify the waste and then remove it. And that's why this profit leadership point and program I came to know. It was going very gelling very well with kind of task we had in our hand, and it was more important to change the thinking of the people, how they look at the things, rather than, because once people are convinced, then it's very easy for any leadership to get the work done. The main work has to happen with the people, and that is why in the first month of our last financial year, I think in the second week of April, we had this workshop, and the agenda was set for the full year. So that was the main thing where we could identify what are the profit leakage point, and we can call it waste or the profit leakage point, and then it was very easy to go on eliminating that.
But in terms of the people enrollment, between this workshop approach as well as the previous way of enrolling people, did you find any difference that they came on board and then started supporting this move? What is your opinion on that people enrollment part?
See, first of all, of this workshop and the way we approached it, it was not something which we gave them the solution. It was a workshop, it was not a training program. And always I find workshop are more effective than the training programs. Because in workshop, people learn and they decide, they execute. So basically, the sense of ownership is there. So that's why in this workshop, when we set for 2 days and started from the scratch, and everything has been identified by the people under your guidance, there was a sense of ownership. Oh, these are the 109 leakage points where we found out. So when we found out that that ownership was there, then the execution was comparatively easy. At least half battle was already won when that ownership has come. So, and I would say that was the key success factor in that.
So in terms of normally when the workshops are conducted, they are very enthusiastic and they participate, they find the profit leakages, etc. But subsequently, implementation requires a lot of leadership reviews and creating accountability, etc. It seems that you have taken a lot of pain in ensuring that these are not ending up in a theoretical exercise, but practically yielding some substantial results. Can you tell us what is the governance mechanism you adopted in order to ensure the results happen?
See, One thing we started, we have weekly leadership meeting where 25 up to managers, leaders, heads, CEOs, CFOs, and managers, and to some senior people, they attend. But in this forum, every week we meet 2 hours. We will review only the progress on those 109 points, because we made that as a priority for next 2 3 months, because we knew once we have just come out of the workshop, we have the agenda in hand. If initial 2 3 months we focus and we drive it effectively, later it will be in the system. And that's what we change our priority. Rather than monitoring the departmental metric, we focus entire energy of the leadership team on the monitoring this 109 points. So 3 months we have to do, and we used to monitor in Excel sheet, and we started, okay, so many green lines happen. If something is completing, we are putting the green lines. And slowly that white become started green, green, green. And by the end of the 3 months, it was quite a lot green painted. And then we thought, okay, now we can shift our focus back to our normal and see how it is happening. And within 4 months, we started benefiting.
So, would you mind giving quantified results that you have achieved if it's not very confidential?
Cost of poor quality, which includes everything, site services, rework, and all this. I worked in one company abroad, and there our target was 0.5%. It should never go beyond 0.5%, and 0.5% is quite a good level of in. I'm talking the international standards. Where I worked for 3 years, and that used to be target. Our last year we could maintain 0.35%, and that's quite substantial if we talk about that. So that's the one indication I will say how we maintain our cost, because the cost of poor quality is not just cost, but it also improves the reputation of the brand, reputation of the company, reputation of the product in eyes of the customer, because it has the exponential effect. It's not just rupee, it is the reputation of company, because cost of poor quality, you can say it's 0.5 or 1%, money wise less, but it creates customer irritation. And when it goes down, means the number of defects, number of problems at site has goes down, the customer having the less problem with the product, customer is having less problem with the services, and customer is comfortable, happy with that. So it has the much important, and that's why we monitor is very closely.
For the benefit of those who are trying to understand the profit leadership initiative and then the model, I want to ask you one last question. That during the workshop, which was only a 2-day workshop, generally people feel that what can happen in a 2-day workshop, it will be yet another kind of an awareness program. But you mentioned that about 108 profit leakages have been identified, which have been subsequently quantified in financial terms. And then there were a lot of actions were initiated, which has really contributed to the financial performance. So could you kindly pick some three or four examples and explain that how these profit leakages have been identified and how it has helped for a financial performance? Could you kindly throw some light on this, please?
I will just go through the list. As we said, there was 109 to be precise. So one point was there was a damage which we were paying to the transporter. So when people sat together for those 2 days, the main point was to develop the ownership of that profit leakage. Whenever it comes to the outbound logistics of demurrage, people will think, hey, that is logistics. But actually, though logistics is the owner, but the real ownership lies with the production. For example, when the production came to know, we lost lakhs of rupees in just demurrage. It was just very easy for them to correct it. Another was hardware scrap. But as a solution, when they implemented the system in shop floor, they identified 20 points where the scrap is getting generated. And they put a system of collection, monitoring, measurement, and sending it back to the stores effectively. of 20 collection points. And not just that, thereafter, they took up a project how to reduce it. Now, there was one more was aspect was that how we are doing the erection commissioning estimates. We also found that there were sometimes cases where we are losing money in inaccurate estimation of days of erection commissioning, or our cost was not proper, because this is erection commissioning cost is quite less as compared to the entire transformer cost. So we improved the estimation process of that, though even though small, but we were losing money ultimately. So we fixed it up that, but that was identified in that workshop. Otherwise, it was getting hidden somewhere. So this kind of small points in across the region, across the working function have been identified, and the ownership took up by the people.